we vote to remain, what contingency plan is there for the expected levels of people that are going to come to the country?
Lord Heseltine.
I decided to call in to LBC yesterday when I heard this question. What can the Conservatives do to win power and to not become totally irrelevant? And for me, that's quite simple. The person who holds the answers is Michael Heseltine. And what does Michael Heseltine say? Stop blaming immigrants, pivot, go back in the European Union and become a credible force for business again and pro-growth, pro-economy. And to be pro-growth and pro-economy, you have to be on the side of immigration, because to get growth, we need immigration, because the large elderly baby boom population who are living longer didn't have enough children. Our birth rate is in decline, and we need more people to come here and help make Britain great again. Anyway, here's what I said to LBC.
Liz, go ahead.
What you need to do, what the Conservatives need to do, is go and get Michael Heseltine, because he knows exactly what the treatment is. You need to stop bashing migrants and stop being negative about immigration. We need immigration because we have a top-heavy ageing population who are living longer, who all had, we've all been having less children. The birth rate is in decline. And so to run the country, we need young people, and we didn't have enough children, so we need immigration. There's lots of positives to that. You don't have to put them through education. You don't have to, do all of the rest of it. They come in and you can have the people that you want. So celebrate immigration. It's brilliant that they want to come here. Also, we wouldn't have won World War II without what is largely immigration, the people that were in the Commonwealth who came and helped us. So stop demonising people who aren't supposedly British. Stop that completely. It's silly and it's not getting us anywhere, and it's actually really unhealthy. It's like smoking.
Liz,
So
that would be quite a shift for the party. I mean, I know it's not delivered on immigration in any way. I've made that point.
Well, it's not really, Ali, because you've got lots of people in the party who aren't quintessentially British. So celebrate it. Who wants to go around looking all 100% as if you're British?
But Suella Braverman's not going to back this line, nor is Kemi Badenoch.
Well, only because they are scared of being brave. Let's get real about this. We've always been proud of welcoming people, whether they're coming here on holiday or they want to come here and roll their sleeves up.
I agree with you, and I don't think anyone's saying...
It's really, really unattractive to people that are awake to this. People in business who rely on workers are awake to the reality that we need immigration. So stop the Conservatives used to be the party of business, and they have lost that.
That is true. I agree with you there.
Because they have gone down this line of chasing unicorns, and they've done the same with Brexit. Michael Heseltine is a brilliant politician. He is the best Prime Minister we never had. So if I was Kemi Badenoch, I think it's a difficult shout for her. I think James Cleverly would be better. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I think he would be better. Yeah. But I would be getting on the phone to Michael Heseltine, and I would be getting real about this, because all of us in this area who recognise that Brexit is killing our industries, particularly food and farming and food production. We've got nowhere to go. That's the problem.
Okay, so
go to Michael Heseltine. Nobody's really offering it.
Understood.
To us. So
but Liz,
if you want a quick fix, get real about immigration, get real about Brexit, and even Stanley Johnson came out and spoke this last.
Okay, so Liz, just on this, the people who would have got real on immigration and Brexit have all been purged from the Tory Party, and Boris did that.
Well, I realise what he did because he went down the populist route. He
got rid of David Gork, he got rid of Rory Stewart, and he got rid of half of these guys. Philip Hammond, they're all gone.
Is still in the Conservative Party. Get him in as leader.
Sorry, who?
David Gork is still in the Conservative
Well, I mean,
Party.
he left, he stood as an independent in his old patch. I mean, and now he's working for the government writing a justice review.
Have an amnesty and put them back in there again. You'll get all of these
now that is interesting.
Centre voters back.
Now that
and
is
as
interesting.
well, left of centre voters who are really annoyed with Keir Starmer.
Well, that is interesting.
And you would cause an earthquake because people are politically homeless. Look at how low the turnout was yesterday. I didn't vote yesterday. I can't vote. My husband can't vote. So you have to face reality and stop the chasing of the migrants and demonising of the migrants.
Okay.
It's hideous, and it makes me feel ashamed to see people.
Well, Liz, I think you made a very interesting point. I mean, there is one strategy, which is the big tent strategy of the Tories. They would have to really go on bended knee and encourage these guys back. I mean, Rory Stewart's making a shed load of money through a podcast. I'm not sure he even wants to come back into frontline politics. But all those people, where the Tory party used to be a big tent with different views, they were completely purged on the back of Brexit, where the party lost its marbles.
But if Rory doesn't want to come back to frontline politics, he's still going to be batting for you if you're doing the right thing, because he is a convicted politician. He's not somebody that goes on the populist bandwagon.
Interesting, Liz.
So that's what you need.
Okay.
You know, that they are really popular because the centre of this country is in that place. And that it's only going to get greater. The youth are all in that place. 70-odd% of them want to get rid of Brexit. So do the right thing for the country, and then you will absolutely, you will kill Farage, and you will also get rid of the threat from Labour.
Well,
that's what we need.
Thank you, Liz. I think, Liz, you've outlined the challenge there, because that is really the battle for the soul. It's not aping Farage. It's actually thinking through clearly what your offer, what your retail offer and principles and guiding light are going to be. Thank you for that. Jerry.
Perhaps Justine Greening was listening in to LBC yesterday, because this morning on Laura Kuenssberg, she said this.
Justine, watching on, do you think this is a seismic shift, as Nigel Farage claims, or is it just a moment of a bubble?
I think it is a big shift, actually. I certainly think for this version of the Conservative Party, that's now finished. And I think if it's to have any future, it will have to substantially reinvent itself. I don't see a way back.
Wow, you think the Tories are finished if they carry on this
I think
trajectory?
this version of the Conservative Party that we've seen over the best part of a decade, that has been trying to out-reform, I think that experiment is demonstrably failed, and the party has reached a literal dead end.
The population's gone up, and yet the housing hasn't really maintained the levels that it should have done. If we vote to remain, what contingency plan is there for the expected levels of people that are going to come to the country?
Lord Heseltine.
The government inherited a very low building programme, and they have now put in place the implementation of the plans they announced at the last election to seriously increase the level of housing provision we must do. But if I may make the point, we're talking about the level of immigrants into this country. And the issue for this referendum is really, why do we have so many? Half of them, over half as a matter of fact, come from outside Europe. So this is not a European issue. This is a consequence of the success of the British economy. If you ask me why we have so many immigrants into this country, it's because we have so many elderly people who need to be looked after. We have a health service which is in serious measure manned by people from overseas. We have a very serious shortage of skills for engineers, for scientists. We have a very significant number of students coming to and paying to come to our university. And the government, if it wanted to, could cut the number of immigrants overnight, because they have complete control over half the numbers that are coming.
So why haven't they done so? They've had this promise to reduce it to tens of thousands.
They haven't done it precisely because of the old people, because of the health service, because of the demands of the industry, because we have an economy growing at one of the fastest in our sort of country in the world.
Nigel.
For many years now in Britain, we have had successive people in power who have been totally focused on scapegoating immigration and demonising it and making out that it's making life hard for everybody because we've got too many people here stealing houses or taking jobs or making the wages low or everything that you can imagine. And it's gone on and on and on. And the truth of the matter is we have an elderly, ageing population who are living longer, who are also a very large population because we had a boom, a baby boom after the war. And we have had a declining birth rate since the heyday of the 60s and the invention of the pill and other changes with women becoming more welcome in the workplace and life-changing. And as a result, we need immigration because we don't have enough young people. And we should be welcoming people who want to come and work here and contribute to this country. I have spent some time in Canada because my friend lives there. And in Canada, the approach there in Calgary has always been, we welcome anyone who comes here. We are an open, outward-looking country, and we welcome anyone that wants to come and sit at the table and do business and work with us. And that is such a healthy approach, and this is what we should be doing. But what we're doing is demonising people who want to come here and help make Britain great. And the person that's been leading this charge, obviously, is Nigel Farage, but all of the Conservatives in particular have been doing this for years, and they only do it because the average person out there that is a bit like Alf Garnett, who's grumpy or Victor Meldrew and wants to feel angry with something, I'll blame it on you because you don't look like you're one of me and you're not the same as me. And it's so wrong. And history shows us why it's wrong, and it shows where it leads. And we have been appeasing this now for a long time, particularly since Brexit and that awful poster that Nigel Farage stood in front of and made this country really, well, made me feel very deeply ashamed of this country. And one of our MPs was murdered by a far-right extremist. How much further down this road do we have to go? And the reason this keeps happening is that all of the parties largely are appeasing Nigel Farage and offering a sort of light version of him. They're thinking, oh, well, people are voting for Nigel Farage, so I'll try and ape him or echo what he's doing. It's absolutely repulsive to voters like me. I don't want to hear this rhetoric. I don't want to hear blaming migrants. Most of us, if we went out and did a DNA test, will realise that we're all related to migrants, including the royal family. None of us are quintessentially 100% English. I mean, what is 100% English? Supposedly, it was the Welsh who were here first anyway. It's just nonsense. And we really need to stop it because it's getting worse and it's getting more dangerous. And now that the Reform Party are beginning to win some power, not because the people are changing. The reason the Reform Party are winning votes is because less people are voting, the turnout is low, and there's more parties competing for the votes, as well as the Conservatives changed the voting system on the mayoral and the PCC elections. Had we had still the proportional representation system in force, would Reform have won the 2 seats? Well, we're not sure, are we? Because we didn't even exercise that so that it was more democratic. Keir Starmer hasn't reversed any of that. He's been too busy continuing as a Tory-light administration.
Brexit will be enormous for me. We get a single farm payment under the Common Agricultural Policy from Europe. That's guaranteed for a number of years by the British government. Following that, we expect a 70% cut in farm payments, and for me, my farm is larger than the average, I would have to cease farming. That's a simple fact. It would not be profitable. We have the added risk then of Britain bringing in cheaper beef from Australia, India, Brazil, which would drive the price down.
Given that you trade on, you do your farming under EU rules, how would that affect your relationship with the Republic if suddenly the rules were different on both sides of the border?
That would be catastrophic. Like, we have met in the group that I'm involved in, Border Communities Against Brexit, we've met Barnier's team, met Verhofstadt's team, been very engaged. And the one thing that they keep saying is that Europe will protect its borders. They're not talking about immigration, they're talking about food, primarily, GM and that kind of thing. So if Britain decides to go and buy cheap beef in Brazil or India or some other country that doesn't have regulations like we do, or America, where they use hormones widely, that is the first thing that will create a very hard border on the island of Ireland. I would say to Theresa May, you're wrecking business. You're going to hugely damage the economy. You're going to cause perhaps unrest in Ireland again. You're going against every tenet of the Good Friday Agreement. How can this be good for us? And I think the campaign about a people's vote is an excellent idea, and it is one where people voted for something on which they were lied to, a result that they believed would bring a different outcome. So people absolutely should be given the right to vote on whatever deal Theresa May managed to extract from Europe. And by no stretch of the imagination will that deal be anything like the deal that